Hey, this is Mr. V doing a book review today called Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. This is a classic Goosebumps book from the original 62 book run. This is book number 5 from the original 62 book run. You should know that I don't give any spoilers during my book reviews. So, let's get into Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. So, Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, the basic premise for this, it's about a kid. His name is Gabe. He's, I think, 12 or 13 years old. And his parents are archaeologists, and they're studying in Egypt currently. And Gabe really wants to go inside a pyramid, all that. His parents need to go somewhere, so then Gabe will be with his uncle, who is currently studying a pyramid. And that is the main plot of Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. So, I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was a lot of fun because I thought that it had like a really fun beginning because I think it's because of the area it takes place. As Egypt is like a fun area for the atmosphere in that, you know, it has the pyramids, things like that. Gabe is really interested in the pyramids, but he isn't that interested in the rest of Egypt. You know, so it's a really fun things like that. And it was cool because like even chapter 1, right from the beginning, chapter 1, R.L. Stine basically leaves like chapter 1 with like a slight cliffhanger. I don't remember the exact phrase, but it was something like Gabe had even said, like, I did not know that I would be stuck in a tomb forever. Or it was something like that. It was, and then it makes you wonder, like, okay, how will he be in there later in the book? So, you know, he leaves on a slight cliffhanger, and even in the chapter 1. So that was a lot of fun. And I actually think that this is overall one of the cooler plots that I have read so far of the Goosebumps, because I think, again, it's because it takes place in Egypt. Egypt is a fun place, and it's like Gabe really wants to go into a pyramid, and his uncle is studying inside a pyramid. You know, and I think that's something that we've all wanted to do when being a kid. You always want to go into the pyramids and see what it's like. And it is, you know, it's just, you want to see those mummies. And even in the book, R.L. Stine talks about like some of the real process of what they did in ancient Egypt. So that's also a lot of fun. That's why overall, I think that this was one of the cooler plots, because another thing is that pyramids are definitely fascinating, but also like the atmosphere can actually be really, really creepy. You know, it's like we always think of it being really cool, but it's like you have to go in with flashlights, everything's super dark, and the atmosphere is just really creepy. And it can either be full of a lot of excitement or a lot of fear, depending on how you're looking at it. So, you know, I just thought that was also a lot of fun about this book. Like, that was really good. And another thing is that this book, it felt super real. I can't spoil anything about why it felt more real, but like some of the atmosphere felt real in the way he described the pyramids, but also like when he is in Egypt with his parents, like he's watching TV, but he can't because he says that everything's in Arabic, you know, and that like his uncle is like a true archaeologist, not like the Indiana Jones type. And like the uncle isn't just like rushing in and stuff like that. It's more like, okay, we got to be safe. We got to really do it this way. And, you know, and we got to bring flashlights, all those types of things. So it's like, it felt a lot more real. And another thing is like the main character, Gabe, is like when his parents are there and they're like studying in Egypt, you know, Gabe is bored. You know, he's 12, 13 or 14, you know, he's bored. And like, he wants to play his Game Boy, but his mom is like, why don't you go and look at the Nile River and do things like that instead of playing on your Game Boy? And that's where I said, again, it felt super real because it brought me back to like when I was a kid. I never went to Egypt, but it brought me back to when I was a kid. It's like how your parents are like, why don't you go look at this like monumental landmark? But you're like, that's boring. You know, you want to play your Game Boy, you know, you don't appreciate it at the time. So that's another area where I felt it just was super real. And, you know, I think that adds to the story a lot. Now, some of the areas that I did not like about the book was there were some of the one character in particular was in a situation that he just acted so dumb in one particular situation. The character acted so dumb that it makes you roll your eyes. Like, come on, a character like there was an area that was very easy to escape something bad, and like the character didn't do it, and it just makes you roll your eyes. And like the character would have easily escaped. So, that was one thing I didn't like, that it felt like it was kind of like almost a stupid excuse to not escape. And, that was one thing I really didn't like. But that also some of the scenes were like too forced, in that like how they got into certain areas were just like really forced. And I can't give any spoilers, but it's like there would be like two pathways, and like they would have gone down one pathway previously, and then all of a sudden he'd go down the wrong pathway and he'd be in this like super secret area, or somehow he would fall and he would be in the secret area. And it's like, come on, that's just a little too forced to me. It just felt too forced in how they got into some of those areas. And another area I didn't like, the last area I didn't like, was I felt it had a pretty weak end. And I generally base an end based off of if you like it, but also does it wrap things up. I was just marginal with the end, and it did not wrap things up. It didn't leave you on a cliffhanger type of thing, but it was like it didn't wrap things up. There was one major area that was not explained. So I just thought that was not, it was a very weak end, and I did not like that aspect. But despite all those negativities that I just said, I still thought that this was a fun book overall, as there was many fun elements. Again, the atmosphere was great, being in Egypt, going into the pyramids, studying mummies, all that kind of stuff is a fun atmosphere. I still thought it was a fun book, and a fun story. Overall, I definitely recommend this book. I always rate my Goosebumps as either an A, B, C, D, or an F, and I would definitely rate this one a B, because I just thought everything was still really fun about it. Didn't quite get to the A level because of some of the weaknesses I said, but I still thought this is a B, and I would definitely go and recommend you guys read Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. If you guys have any questions, comments, disagreements, anything, please post it in the comments section below. Hope you guys click subscribe, as I always upload multiple different book reviews. Thank you for watching my book review today. This is Mr. V. Go enjoy reading.